Would you pray with me? May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Today's is a story of contrasts. For weeks now, even months, Jesus has been traveling on foot, slowly making his way to Jerusalem, to the holy city, and to his fate. It's most of this book. And it's been slow going, stopping in towns, doubling back for healings, pausing on the roadside for teaching or for prayer. Always walking. And yet today, with only half a mile left, he finds a colt to ride. After all, Jesus doesn't come to this Passover as a pilgrim, not entirely. This time he comes as a king. And a king, of course, returns home riding. It was true both for the Jews and for the Gentiles. In the ancient days when Israel had its own king, there was this annual celebration of the reign. The king would leave the city and process back on a donkey, surrounded by the crowds, by dancing and songs, to reascend the throne so that the people might reaffirm his reign. And then in these days of Rome, the same thing still happened, only it was mostly for war. A triumphant king would return to Rome from a battlefield on horseback, bearing the spoils of war and listening to the songs of victory from the crowds. This is the image in people's minds as Jesus enters the city. He's not a new king coming to conquer it, but rather its victorious sovereign. Except, of course, there are no spoils, no banners of the army, no war horses, no priest, just a peasant on a donkey. And crowds shouting Messiah nonetheless. The people see him as their king, or at least they're caught up in the moment. But because they do, they take their cloaks and their songs to make this a royal moment, a triumphant entry. And so because of all of this, you'd think the threat is mainly political. After all, a rival king is finally coming. It's that thing that Herod was so scared of that Jesus and his family had to flee when he was born. Surely the royal family will be angry. Surely the Romans will strike swiftly. And yet, we don't hear anything from either. Not yet, anyway. It's some of the Pharisees who step in to try to stop what is happening. For some reason, they believe this is a threat more to religion and culture and their power than a threat to the state. Now, it's not all of the Pharisees. They're often painted with a broad brush, but here it's only some. And those who speak demand silence from the crowds. No more of this kingly entry. It makes us look bad to the emperor. No more of these cloaks in the road. No more of these shouts of glory. No more of this disruption. Passover already has the imperial army on edge. But there's no way to stop this now, Jesus says. Even the stones would sing this song. It's the first time in the book he actually seems to claim this role for himself. This title that the others around him have been guessing for so long. No more are Peter and the others silenced when they know who Jesus is. No, this is the moment that he is willing to say in public that even creation will take up the cry. It's a story of silence versus shouts, temple versus crowds, human versus nature. It'll take time this week, but eventually everyone will fall silent. Today it's only some of the Pharisees. Tuesday it will be the temple leaders. Wednesday, Judas. Thursday, Peter. By the end, even the women who are willing to remain with him at the cross do not feel safe enough to speak up. Soon enough, these shouts of glory and peace in heaven become the shouts of death and destruction on earth. The crowds turn when this king they celebrate does not conquer. They want him so badly to overthrow Rome, to free them in earthly terms. And when that's not what salvation looks like, they turn against him. After all, there's nothing quite so violent as a crowd whose last lingering hope feels dashed. And yet, even when all goes silent, the stones do cry out. The sky will darken. The temple curtain will tear itself in twain, and at the end of it all, a stone will roll away. The first witness to the miracle of God. It's a day of dichotomies and of acknowledging the allure of the crowd. We shout Hosanna with the best of them, but when the time comes and it feels like all is lost, how long are we willing to stand in the breach? Do we break from our colleagues or demand silence alongside them? Do we flee from the danger, or do we stand at the cross to bear witness even if we can't speak? Do we stay and fight for peace on earth, or do we leave that promise to heaven, the future, and God? Do we stand up for justice when the innocent die, or do we stay on the sidelines as silent as a stone? If we do, we certainly won't be alone. It's scary to face down an empire, or a politician, or a church when it does wrong. We don't quite know what to say in those moments. We don't want to risk the same fate, right? Surely we can just change only a little at a time. not make too many waves. And it's true that we can. But how quickly that desire becomes, surely I can step in next time. Surely I can call tomorrow. Surely someone else will write this letter. Surely it's okay if I'm silent. Sometimes it is. That was the entire sermon last week, and it's still true. If it's really just you, and you really need a rest, it's okay to step away. If someone else really steps in while you're gone, it's okay to take a break. But it's also true that we do often move in mobs, more than we might wish. And when one person goes silent, it becomes easier and easier for the next, and the next, and the next to do the same. So guard your rest, but use your voice too. And the good news of this week is that though we may fail, because we are imperfect, we will always get another chance. When we falter, if we will wait out the night, the morning will dawn. Life will dawn, and the stones themselves will sing. We just have to be ready to listen. May it be so.